Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whenever you're listening to. You're not listening, are you? No, you're watching this because this is huge. So we're here at the Coach Fitness. We're going to be filming a leg day. Like any good gym bro, we're going to start off with arms because arms are the most important muscle group. They're a bit of a priority for me because my elbows suck, so I need to make sure to give them as much attention as possible. And as you know, if you train with any degree of intensity, you're going to be a little bit spangled after legs. Right, we're breaking up. It's done. We're over.
We're getting divorced. Sorry. You guys, we're going to have to go to court and figure out who gets custody of you guys as our children.
No, so Jack's done us the wonderful job of getting injured once again. I'm so surprised. So he's going to be doing what, upper?
Yeah, so I'll be training upper because I flared up my knee doing my last leg day. I haven't trained it since. It's coming along nicely, but this is one of those situations where it's just not worth one session's worth of growth or content to potentially piss this off even more.
All muscle loss, mate. You're going to be so small.
Yeah, so my quads have disappeared. That's why I'm wearing baggy joggers, because they've just gone, mate.
And I've got legs. Sound.
Well, you don't actually physically, but you might at the end of this session.
Fuck's sake. Wait, you recording now? Jeez, do we look handsome? Right, pre-workout is going in. We have got some whey, some oats, some dark chocolate, some berries, because you need your micros. Jack, what you got?
I've literally got the Bodybuilder Classic. I got chicken and rice. 2 reasons, right? It digests well, and it's pretty much all I can eat at the minute because of how picky my digestion is, because of how high my food is. So as I diet down, this will get a bit more exciting. For now, it's just got to fill the needs, do the necessary.
But you haven't mentioned this bad boy here.
To be fair, right?
You can't have any sauces, mate, surely.
Washed down by a monster. And sauces you can have, like, even if you're dieting, it's not a low-calorie sauce. If you're fairly consistent with your intake of sauces, those calories are somewhat accounted for. If we needed to pull food back from this, just pull back price, but I can keep the sauce the same.
So why aren't you having like whey protein with some oats like this meal? Why have you got to have something different?
Because I can't digest whey. And if I'm not able to digest my food, it's not going to get absorbed properly. I'm going to get some gas, some bloating, and ultimately we want our food to be the most available energy source to us. So if it's causing issue getting absorbed, the energy in your food isn't going to be as available to you.
And when it comes to like actually putting your meals together, you need to look at, am I ticking off the key boxes? So have I got some protein? Have I got some micronutrients if it's appropriate? Well, hopefully it's appropriate unless you're Jack, weirdo. And have you got some dietary fat to sort of support your hormonal function?
So the first thing that I do when I'm trying to put together what my food's going to be is trying to hit my protein count for the day, my fat count for the day, and then fill up with macros. This meal and the post doesn't have any veg in, just because I can't tolerate that level of food. My final meal and the meal before that have a little bit more veg in, but most of my veg is in my first meal because that seems to work for my appetite. Normally I would have a little bit of fruit with post, depending on how I feel on the day, but I put together my meals as, how can I hit my protein with all the protein sources I've got available? How can I hit my fats? Chuck in fruit and veg, and then I'll fill the rest out with carbs. So do it in that order. Don't just do it meal by meal. Do it source by source and macro by macro.
The total for each of the macros in your meal is also going to be influenced by when you're training. If you're training in 4 hours, you probably want to have a bit more fat and a bit more total food in order to keep you sustained. Whereas I've got a little bit of fat here to help give me energy over the session, but it's not too crazy that's going to block up my digestion for hours. My elbows hate me so much. Oh my God. Right, okay, what am I talking about? What's important? If you want to grow something, it probably makes sense to do it at the start of the session when you're freshest. For me, triceps are an awful muscle group. My elbows are also a little bit tetchy, so when I've got the most sort of mental bandwidth to pay attention to that, it makes sense to do them in. I like using cuffs for these because it brings the point in which the force is applied to my hand a little bit further upwards, which means that the stress around the elbow joint by all of the stuff that sort of helps stabilize is reduced. You'll see as I'm going through the rep that the path of the cable is aligned with my arm, so it's not trying to pull to the outside of me, it's not trying to pull to the inside, and that can help reduce a load of stress around your joints and actually target the muscle you're trying to grow. Second exercise for triceps here, we've already done an isolation and extension to get some blood in the muscle group. Nice and high rep on those. We're now into a press. Before we get started with this, we want to make sure that we're assessing the range of motion that we have available. So I can get to about here, and you'll see that I like to have that lean forward because it just feels a bit more comfortable for me. And then we can get straight into a working set. That is so nice. Oh, fucking hell. Tricep presses are far better than extensions for me personally, and that's just because I'm able to use a lot of other muscle groups. Now that might sound a little bit counterintuitive. If you're trying to grow your triceps, surely you want them to be doing all the work. The thing is, my elbows hate that. So if I can use a little bit of front delt and chest in order to support here, that's really, really handy in terms of not killing my elbows. And if my elbows can stay pain-free, I can probably grow my triceps for a little bit longer. Looking at these handles, they were giving me a little bit of pain around the wrists, and that's just because the surface area, fancy sciencey word, is quite small. So if you do have something like this and it's giving you some wrist pain, you could try using wrist wraps, or alternatively, just getting something like a fat grip to go around this can help because it decreases the amount of force that's going through each miniature section. I'd also make sure that while you're setting up for this, you do just give yourself a little bit of a range check, so we're not allowing the weight to just pull us upwards into positions that you don't have available. Next up is some single leg hip flexion, and the reason that we're doing this is if you think about the amount of hip extension work you do, so your hinges, your squat compounds, and any direct stuff like say a hip thrust, that's a lot of work for the opposite motion of this. And if we don't want to get any muscle imbalances, all buzzword, then we probably want to be training the opposite of that. So if you're feeling any issues around this sort of area, it might be something to look at. And you might be thinking, oh, that's not that difficult, Luke. You're only using your own body weight. Trust me, if you've never done this before, it can get pretty challenging. I started off doing these with like sets of 5, and it's now at the point where I probably want to start adding some load because I'm getting upwards of 20 reps. Last thing here is just, I'm using my hand as support because you can imagine if you're sat on half of a bench and you're moving your leg around, it's quite easy to fall over.
This is why Luke is short. He lacks in certain hormones, don't you, mate?
Yeah?
You lack in hormones.
HGH, mate?
Yeah, in particular,
yeah.
Have you ever thought about getting a prescription?
I don't think it works at this age, mate. I've been the same height for about 4 years.
Actually?
Right, stop talking to me. I'm trying to focus, bro.
Oh, sorry, bro.
Yeah. This is do or die, mate. Don't you know this is the most important exercise at our leg day?
It's Tom Platz over it. How many reps can you actually get on that?
Like 20.
Yeah. How are you going to progress that?
Add load.
Weights.
Yeah.
What?
Add load.
Yeah, how? Ankle weights?
Yeah.
Or just get edema?
Edema progression. Jack's already beat me to it, so it is time to plug coaching. Obviously, I am an online coach. That is what I do for a job. So if you are looking for any help when it comes to improving your physique, whether that be losing body fat, getting fucking massive, or just managing all of the shit that you've got going on in your life, then drop me a message. Link is in the bio and all of that good stuff. Don't sign up with Jack, he's an arsehole. We are training biceps, mate. Biceps femoris, biceps of the leg. That's what's going on here. I like to do a hamstring curl prior to my compound work just because it allows me to warm up the knee joint without putting so much pressure on it. And if you have knee issues, that can be quite helpful. Something you want to make sure you're doing when you're using this machine is that as you're going through the rep, the distance between your feet doesn't change too much. So you're not starting here and ending here. And what that's going to, it's a bit of a weird angle, isn't it? Because the knee is a hinge joint like your elbow, which means it only moves like this. So if we've got a force trying to push it that way, that's not going to end up too well over time. A common complaint that I get from clients on this exercise when they're first trying it is that this pad keeps sliding all over the place. It's going up their leg as they go through the reps. And what's probably going on there is that you haven't aligned your knee with the axis of the machine. So your knee is what your leg is spinning around, and the axis, which is this guy here, is what the machine is spinning around. So we want to match those 2 points up, and that's going to prevent this guy moving about. All right, time for a set. Let's go. I'm using a seatbelt to help keep me in place here, because once this starts to get heavy, in the bottom position, the load is trying to pull me that way. So I'll go through the rep, I'll cue pushing into this at the end of the rep and driving up into it at the start, just to help keep me in position. Right, let's play some Frozen. It's actually what's playing, mate, I'm serious.
That's you. And again, and again, and again. Come on. Yep, yep. That's still you. Come on. Yep. Yep, 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 yep. Yes. Come on. Perfect, mate.
Oh.
Bad boy sets only.
As Elsa just said, let it go, mate.
You are?
As Elsa just said, let it go. Fuck, you know.
You've been listening to Frozen?
Yeah?
Oh.
Just came on, bro. It's in the playlist, trust me.
You know what? You should release a gym music playlist for people.
No, I shouldn't.
That'd be so jokes.
No, I shouldn't.
Adele and whoever the fuck.
I'd get roasted, mate.
Yeah, you would, but it'd be jokes.
Oh, I got one more set.
Bruv, how are you just chilling in the Hamco after training hams?
It's all right.
Really?
Just relaxation, mate. Just vibing.
Man's got mobility.
Man's got mobility.
We're gonna do leg extension. We're doing it on a Kaiser machine, which uses gas to create pressure, yeah? He's fucking in a world of his own. So you can adjust it like Luke's doing with the handles. Quite cool. Oh dear, did you put too much on?
No, I upped it as I was going upwards, and it was like the most painfully eccentric I've ever done in my life.
Oh. Luke's gonna do 3 sets, I imagine.
No, mate, 2 sets.
2 sets.
2 sets. You can only do 2 sets. If you do more than 2 sets, all your tissue gone, mate. Like your legs.
Fat. I can call him that because we're business partners.
Your BMI is definitely higher than mine.
It's 31, yeah, it is.
Oh, mad.
Yeah, I know, 1 point over obese.
What do I think of it? What do I think of it? What?
Just answer the question, Rev.
Yeah. Sorry, Mr. Milo Wolf, but these are quite a good exercise.
Yeah, that's jokes.
Thank you for watching part 1 of my triceps and lower day. If you found this one useful, give it a like, subscribe to the channel. You might want to check out the pull day, which I posted a couple of weeks back, and then part 2 of this session will be up in 2 weeks. If you'd like some more help with improving your physique or access to one of my free ebooks, just drop me a message on Instagram.